Hello everyone and welcome to The Break Run. My name is Frank.
My name's Kevin.
And I'm Matt. And today we're going to be discussing the recent changes coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
That's right. Recently, Disney announced that Disney's Hollywood Studios would be adding Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land coming to the park at an unknown date. But with the additions of these new attractions, they have closed pretty much half of the park in preparation to bring these new attractions to life. So guys, what do you think of this?
I mean, it's kind of sad that they closed half the park. I mean, it makes sense they need to do so much construction work for it, but you basically lost so much, and you lost the Streets of America Lights Motor Action. While they weren't the most popular rides in the park, they were high capacity. A lot of people just wandered the Streets of America and watched Light Motors Action. So with those now closed, the lines for everything else in the park are going to be skyrocketed.
Yeah, and I find it a little unfair that they're still charging a full price ticket for the park. Now, it's Disney. They're going to charge what they want. But, you know, you go there expecting a lot and you get
4 rides.
4 or 5 rides.
Yeah.
So I think customer satisfaction and the perceived value that they will be getting going to the park, they're not going to meet that.
Well, it's not even that as well. Like, when you go to make fast passes at the park, a majority of the options are shows to make fast passes for. So, you know, if you're going there, yes, that's technically the thrill park of all the 4 Disney parks. But if you're going there for the thrills, you pretty much have Tower and Terror Rock and Roller Coaster. That's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I was an uneducated guest, I could see where they could be frustrated with where things are going with Disney's Hollywood Studios.
But I could see guests being totally okay with it because the rides that they do have open, Star Tours, Tower Rock and Roller Coaster, they're all great rides.
The main rides are still open, so you still have something there, but you're not getting the full experience of the park.
And I feel like when Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land opens, it's going to be definitely one of the best Disney parks around.
So let's start with Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to impact Hollywood Studios and Walt Disney World as a whole? I mean, this is one of the largest projects they've ever tackled.
I think this is definitely almost a direct response to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal, because that was definitely a game changer for the whole theme park industry. They basically immersed guests into one of the most popular franchises of all time, and probably the most popular franchise of all time, Star Wars. It just makes sense that Disney wants to add it into their theme parks.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely going to make up for what they're doing for Hollywood Studios now. And with the addition of Toy Story, you know, it's just a whole nother element to the park.
Yeah.
So you're going to have this whole extremely themed land with 2 signature attractions, it looks like, you know, a great food and beverage option. So you're really adding a lot to the park now that, you know, a lot of things are closing.
Well, going off the theming, when I visited Disneyland in the past fall, one of the things that they did during the Star Wars Season of the Force is like cast members, instead of where they were from, it actually said what planet they were from in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
So if we see that kind of theming displayed in Star Wars Land, that's really following the trend of immersion that's going on.
And I feel like the ride's going to be fantastic, because we rode Hyperspace Mountain, and it literally blew me away being a huge Star Wars fan. What they've done with that ride, I feel like if they just take what they did with that, bring it over here, and just build more new technology rides, it's going to be great.
And with how immersive and how well done the launch bay is, I'm so excited to see how Star Wars Land will portray. Now, the one interesting thing about Star Wars Land is that it takes place on a completely unknown planet in the Star Wars universe. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Personally, that kind of upsets me, because I think what worked so well with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter was, for the first time, you could actually be in the film. You could actually go to Hogwarts Castle and become a wizard, and that worked so well for guests. But I feel like with Star Wars Land, you're not going to have that connection, because it's just going to be a random planet. When if it was a little bit like, you could get to go to Hoth, Dagobah, Endor, and just these iconic Star Wars locations that we've been so grown and attached to, it would make it a lot better.
But the one thing, go ahead, Matt, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the one thing with that is, yes, you're not getting that land, like you said, like you've seen it in the movie, you're not having that connection. But I think the one thing you still are getting is that it is 100% Star Wars.
You're gonna have all the characters.
You can tell it's Star Wars. Like, even just if you didn't have the characters or the names or anything, and you looked at the land, you would still think, I'm in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not a specific land, but I still think it's going to have the same effect.
Yeah.
And Star Wars clearly has a huge fan base, and it has a lot of people that will drive attendance to this park.
Yeah.
But another thing that has a huge fan base is Toy Story.
Yeah.
And Toy Story has been enchanting kids since it debuted in 1995. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And the fact that now we can finally have where we can walk into Andy's toy box and kind of play with the toys per se, I think it's one of the best experiences Disney can offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what's really smart is, we're millennials. So what millennials are looking at is what I grew up with.
Yeah.
So we grew up with Toy Story.
And Star Wars too.
Yeah, they had Toy Story when Andy was young, the first one. They have Toy Story 2. They had Toy Story 3, him going off to college around the time that we went off to college.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have this whole new land that we can immerse ourselves in and really get that full Toy Story experience with the new Toy Story 4 coming out.
Yeah.
The Toy Story Land is going to be offering a Slinky Dog family style coaster, and it's going to be offering alien swirling saucers, kind of a Mater's Junkyard Jamboree at Disneyland style attraction. But recently, they've kind of been in the presses about how the original concept art for Toy Story Land showed a lot more immersive theming on the Slinky Dog coaster, and now for the new concept art, it's not as immersive.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Budget cuts. I mean, they're spending so much money on this. I think they had to cut back on all the theming a little bit.
Right.
I mean, I think still when it opens, it's going to be highly immersive and whatnot. But I feel like they had to take some steps back. What do you guys think?
You can't blame them for cutting back a little bit with them opening up 2 whole lands
And
around
Shanghai
the
too.
same time, with Shanghai opening up, with Pandora opening up.
Yeah.
So you can't blame them for taking it away. It is a little bit disappointing because when you enter an environment like that, you want to be fully immersed and have the full theme. You don't want to have just, this is, this coaster and this is the ride.
Yeah.
Like you don't, you want to be fully immersed when you have those expectations going into it.
Yeah.
So it's a little disappointing, but I see why they did it.
But hey, they said that you're riding along with Slinky Dog with Andy's play coaster track, and I know as a kid I played with model coasters all the time, so I can still connect to it. It's not really gonna take away from the story per se.
Like the ride itself, I think it doesn't look absolutely fantastic. It's definitely marketed towards kids. It kind of just looks like Seven Dwarfs with a launch coaster.
But you know what? That'll be a great balance for Hollywood Studios. Right now, the only coaster that they offer is Rock and Roller Coaster, and that's not really for kids. I mean, it goes upside down 3 times. So the fact that now they're kind of rounding out the Hollywood. I mean, we talked that they're more of the thrill park at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
They're rounding out.
They're rounding out the attractions, and I think with Star Wars and with Toy Story, you get the teens, you get the families, you get everybody.
Yeah. So I feel like this like Sunset Boulevard, so like Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower Terror, it's gonna be mostly for the adrenaline junkies. Star Wars is gonna be for the whole family, so it's gonna have more of a teenager appeal, but families are still gonna love it. And Toy Story is gonna be more for the kid. It's gonna be like the kids zone of the park.
I definitely agree. I think that they're definitely rounding out the park, adding a little bit for everyone. That's what Hollywood Studios needs. It needs to be a flagship park, and it's never going to be Magic Kingdom. It's never going to be Epcot, but it still needs to be a park that you want to go back to.
Yeah. Now, I want to end on one thing that, while we all think that these 2 lands are spectacular for the park, I kind of feel like these are going to be so highly immersive. What are they going to do with the other section of the parks, like Sunset Boulevard and the whole main entrance area? Because if they don't really touch that, it's going to feel out of whack. How are we going to be in highly themed areas, and it's going to be just a classic Hollywood theme?
Well, I think we're going to have to wait to see if this anticipated name change actually goes through.
Yeah.
Because depending on if they do change the name and what they change it to, that's going to reflect on the overall theme of the park. So you can't really answer that question until you know all the specifics with that.
I think in the far, far future, we could see Sunset Boulevard have a little bit of refurbishment going on.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking like 2030 way down the line.
So I really do like that section, how they're kind of keeping some of that studio feel to it. They're not just totally getting rid of that. They're going to still have some of that roots section because it works well, like the whole studio theme, but not for Disney's whole theme park.
Right.
So, but overall, it sounds like we're all very supportive of the Star Wars and Toy Story Land developments. Yeah, it kind of stinks that we have to wait in this kind of waiting period, purgatory Hollywood Studios. But overall, the end result is going to be truly phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right.
So let us know what you guys think. Do you guys approve of Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios? Or do you think they could have used other intellectual properties to generate more success?
Thank you so much for watching this video as always. Please click thumbs up, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to us right here on YouTube for more upcoming theme park videos.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.